Hello and welcome back to Dyad in the Forest. Today we are talking about more details that we have for Visions. We're huge fans of anime over here, so it's some awesome details. And we have some awesome news about The Mandalorian and its Emmy nominations and how it's getting a lot of love. Not to mention more details diving in deep here on the Bad Batch. We'll be talking about that and just hanging out with you guys in the chat right here on Died in the Force.
Unseen for generations, a Dyad in the Force.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Dyad in the Force, episode 36. Lots to talk about. Shout out to the chat. We do have some early members joining prior to going live. So I do want to shout out the Podwins podcast. Thank you so much. Star Wars Scholar, thank you so much. Don't forget to connect your YouTube account with your Discord so that you can automatically join the Discord server and join the Discord hangout in there for Squadron Pilots. And also pick your starship in the hangar. And speaking of which, we're going to go there right now. Right here, we have St. Pat Arya L on the X-Wing, R2-D2 in the TIE Fighter. We have Grandmaster Bale, Harith Productions, DePaul holding it down, the Superstar Destroyer fleet. You guys go big or go home, I guess. Nerd Connor, the U-Wing, Levi Bond and the TIE Interceptor, X-Core Gamer Skills in the A-Wing, Cal 4 in the VCX 1000 or the Ghost, Boba Fett's Starship being piloted by Brian with the Beard, Brian with the Bread, Brian with the Beard Bread, Brian with the Bread Beard. And Darth Choco, my Dyad, in his very own Jedi Vector. Is it still an orange lightsaber powering the guns?
Yeah, it's I would say more gold than orange, but yes, indeed. I love the fact though that the Jedi Vector was originally going to be the starships that the clones fight in. That was its original purpose.
Oh, was that like a Ralph McQuarrie unused concept art or something?
It's concept art from the archives. I got that big giant red book that I'm not going to pull out right now because it weighs like 50 pounds.
If you ever want to read that book, go over to Choco's place. It's probably on the coffee table. Just have some coffee.
Table.
It is the coffee table. Gotcha. And then we have the reserve pilots, Johnsky, Julia, Christine, Massa, and Gray. And now with Star Wars Scholar and the Pod Ones podcast, Choose Your Starships. I see that Star Wars Scholar is choosing the TIE Defender. We got a Thrawn Stan in the house, I guess.
Oh, he was on the high ground this week, and of course the topic was Grand Admiral Thrawn. So yeah, it's not surprising at all.
Awesome. Also, we do have it's time to pay some bills and time to shout out our sponsor, main sponsor for the Dyad Trivia Tournament. We have Master Allen has updated the store with new hilts. Now, if you've been here before, and link in the description below if you're in the market for lightsaber hilts. He has this classic shroud, classic bonus XP boost, but also now we have the Mentor, which is a Kenobi saber. Let's take a look at this. Ooh. That is beautiful. Look at that.
I mean, I'm seeing ooh.
Yeah.
I could deal with that.
I think we could all deal with that. The Fallen, which is Cal Kestis's hilt. Oh man, these pictures are ginormous. But you get the idea, right?
I am partial to the General, but
the General, yes. There it
That
is.
may I mean, that may also be a Hamilton thing for me, but here comes a general.
Yeah, the General or Leia. This was one of my favorite lightsabers to come out of the sequel trilogy, to be completely honest. Now, granted, still looking at the functionality, it's got like Revan vibes. It's like how do you hold it? Like it looks like a one-hander.
It definitely looks like a one-hander, but it definitely looks a lot more comfortable than Revan's. And a lot more comfortable than, the original Anakin. That thing, I always say it's like holding a fistful of Legos.
Yeah. Um we've got the hero or Luke's lightsaber with the control box. We have the master, Luke and Anakin's. Double XP lightsaber. Oh, I said that. The pupil. We have Rey's lightsaber on here.
Oh, I did not.
Oh my gosh. I'm wondering if it has the twistable actuator. Yes. The pupil even activates by a rotation of the toggle at the neck. Oh my gosh.
Okay. All right. All right.
Are we out $350 now? Is this what's happening?
Okay. So Star Wars Celebration. We gotta do gender bent. You can come as Rey, and I'll be Leia, and we'll bring our Master Allen
Hey,
lightsabers.
we can.
But I am not wearing the bikini though.
I love. Oh, aw. Anyway, I love this lightsaber. I really do. The actuating activator is just, man. I
It's
gotta have it.
beautiful. It's beautiful.
Like Cold Stone Creamery, I gotta have it.
I'm just waiting for the Tayoric lightsaber to come out.
I'm waiting
Which one
for
I think-
a lot of High Republic hilts to come out.
I don't even know how you would do it in Elzar Man.
Yeah. I mean, I would do a gender bent Vernestra. Just because she's one of my favorites now. And if you've been reading
Don't call her Vern.
yeah, if you've been reading Out of the Shadows, Don't Call Her Vern. Which of course, obviously, Out of the Shadows comes out July 27th, so that is a 10 days from now. 10 days from now, Out of the Shadows comes out. That's your next book from the High Republic. If you enjoyed The Rising Storm, please read this book. It is good. It is very, very good. Although it is YA, it won't be as as adult as The Rising Storm. It's still a great read. And we get
But after reading The Rising Storm, I'm
Yeah.
sure we could all use a little break and
can all use
Okay.
that, man. We have Ben Solo's hilt, and then Darth Vader's hilt, and then the Phantom and Bruiser. I think the Bruiser is the one that I have that's back there. Yeah, it's back there on the rack. But I don't know. Should I get it? Let me grab it.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and grab it. No, the Master Allen's lightsabers have been legit. They've treated me very well, personally, as especially being affordable. Like I told you guys before, I won a lightsaber in a trivia contest, and I had a horrible experience trying to get it. And when I got there, it was the wrong one. And even for the wrong one, it was the wrong color. And even in the wrong color, it still didn't function properly. And even if it did function, all the buttons and stuff were all cattywampus.
Cattywampus.
Yeah. But seeing Master Allen goes live on TikTok as he's boxing up and shipping these things out, and you can see them, and I don't know, there's just a level of care there that you typically don't see.
This is the Bruiser. The one that you just saw it's big. That's what she said, right? But it's it looks really nice too. I just love this kind of crowned and flared emitter matrix. So yeah, the link is pinned in the chat. If you want to go grab the general. Oh, Choco's up there. He's got his. Which one is that?
I believe this is the one that's right next to that one, but I didn't quite see the name. But it's beautiful, and
The Phantom, maybe. Let's go back.
yeah, I believe it's the Phantom.
The Phantom. Yes. Oh, there's a sale on this one. Wow. Wow. Jet skis and discounts.
But yeah, if you're curious what it looks like, I love the emitter. It makes me feel like it also, I picked it up because it makes me feel like it could flow High Republic as well as everything else.
Absolutely. How does it compare to your Revan?
Oh Jesus.
Deep cut.
Yeah. It's very so much better. When you open it up, not everything spills out of it. Like the other one was just bad. Not gonna say who I got it from, but don't get it from them.
Nerd Connor says, I need you to have a P.O. box. Oh, that's a great idea. We should probably open like a Dyad P.O. box. I think at some point, as the world reopens up, we just gotta meet.
Yeah, no, we definitely have to. And we definitely need to meet at Galaxy's Edge. I mean, I feel like that's just like
The Dyad comes home.
Yeah.
Oh. What is this? I didn't see that. Star Wars lawyer did something.
I heard the sound briefly.
Yeah, it played on my speakers, which is odd because I should switch to my headphones on my computer so that I can hear it. Star Wars lawyer, thank you for joining. I don't know if you heard that on your end, but that is your voice. That is Star Wars lawyer in his Darth Vader voice saying the voice is strong with this one. Star Wars lawyer, pick your starship and we'll add you to the card. Let's catch up with everybody, shall we? Choco should wear the bikini with a pair of Crocs on. I like that idea.
I mean, I'd rather wear the bikini than the Crocs. Let's be real.
Let's see here. Oh, wrong view. Choco as Leia would be something to see. Yes, it would be. At this point in the Bad Batch, I'd be more surprised if Vader didn't show up than if he did. We'll talk about that when we get there, but I still don't think he will, or he needs to.
I don't think he needs to, but I think he will.
Yeah. Which is sadly, I mean, I sadly have to agree with that prediction, but I stick to it that he doesn't need to. And it would just take away from the Bad Batch. This may or may not be my favorite emote now. Which one is that, Star Wars lawyer? Well, we do, like, with everyone joining, we have opened up more emotes, so I did add some Choco Poggers. My face, I don't know what to call that emoji. And then just, to be relevant, there is a chopper emoji as well. So that is just chopper. So yeah, there it is. Harith Productions spamming the chopper emote. Man, I just love how colorful the chat is now that I've worked that out.
No, it looks great. I mean, it's a great crowd. It is a fantastic crowd of people.
We got Choco Poggers, Satil Sean, and then Chopper War Criminal Chopper. Mabe says, I'm going to Galaxy's Edge in 2 weeks. Ooh. Nerd Connor with
Is
all the
is that
emojis.
is which Galaxy's Edge are we talking that you're going to?
Yeah,
That's the
that's.
important question.
Okay, so let's move on to the first topic, lest we run out of time talking about emojis. First topic, of course, being Star Wars Visions. We have an update, folks. Last couple of weeks, we've been getting really hype for Star Wars Visions or Star Wars anime, and we got a nice little sneak preview at Anime Expo Lights, and now they've just held a press conference. Let's pull that up. In Tokyo, talking about all of these titles, and we're going to start with The Elder and the Twins and the director, Masahiko Otsuka, and Hiroyuki Imaishi from Studio Trigger, who did Kill la Kill, Little Witch Academy, and Primare. They said, for some viewers, this series might be their first Star Wars experience, so I wanted to make something that you can enjoy without any knowledge of the rest of the story. So our story is not directly connected to any of the characters from the films, but explores the idea of the Jedi Knights and the Master and Padawan dynamic in an older setting. What are your thoughts on this on this little blurb here?
Yeah, I mean, it contextualizes the time period that we're talking about, right? At least for the Elder. I mean, we're going to get that detail for for things as well, but specifically when it comes to the Elder being set sometime before Episode 1, meaning that you don't it doesn't require knowledge of the Skywalker saga in order for you to kind of fit it in. But I'm super excited for the story just because of this the time old story of the Jedi Master passing the baton, as it were, to their apprentice. Of course, during Anime Expo, they said that as soon as you watch it, you'll see that there's a dual meaning of the Elder. So I'm still waiting on that. But it's nice that they realize that this is going to be an entry point to a lot of people, especially.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how big Star Wars is in Japan itself, but it's clearly has inspired quite a bit of these artists and studios. So I would love to see that kind of reciprocal nature.
Absolutely. And it's good to see that the Master and Padawan dynamic is not something that we're grasping at. Of course, we saw Dan. We saw a couple of we saw a Master that looks like Qui-Gon Jinn, and we saw a Master or a Padawan. And so just from the get-go, we were like, this is Master and Apprentice. And of course, there's going to be some unknown elements in this show that we have yet to. Guys, if you haven't seen my 8 anime to watch before Visions, please check that out as soon as we're done here. But Kill la Kill will give you an awesome look at what Studio Trigger can do with their animation and what we're going to get. And then this one, The Twins, folks, is set after Episode 9. After the Empire, or in this case, I'm sure he meant First Order, has been vanquished by the Resistance. The remnants of the First Order have raised a pair of twins on the dark side of the Force, and the story goes from there. Imaishi says it is the twins searching for a new hope. So we got our first timeline reveal. Of course, with the Elder, it's not directly connected to anything, so I'm assuming it's its setting in the chronology is malleable. It could be anywhere. But the twins, that's right after Rise of Skywalker. That's gonna be interesting.
Yeah. And it also brings to mind there because we saw the conjoined Star Destroyers, right? And there's a brief moment in there that looks like someone pulled a holdo maneuver on just the left one. So I'm curious if how that's going to come into play. But either way, the Studio Trigger ones were some of the ones I'm the most excited about as far as action is concerned. That as well as the Ninth Jedi, which we will be talking about soon. Either way, it's all it's all good. I'll be diving in. I have a lot more videos to make on these on these though, so stay tuned.
Yes. Looking forward to it. Mabe says Florida. She'll be in Florida on July 30th. Julia Christine says she'll be there a week from tomorrow. Wow. So many people going to Galaxy's Edge. And
Yeah, friend of the channel, Victoria Vader, is there right now. Just killing it.
oh my gosh, I'm so jealous. X-Core Gamer Skills says it. I'm so jealous of all you guys going to Galaxy's Edge. Couldn't agree more. Levi Bond says, sounds like there's a meetup in Galaxy's Edge next week. Hopefully y'all can, arrange that in the chat. Whoever's going to the Florida or Orlando Galaxy's Edge. It'd be awesome for people in our community to start meeting up and getting to know each other. I know there's like a new thing happening with that I'm gonna call it Rona, but I do believe we're on the precipice of the world opening back up. So definitely get vaccinated and then go meet up with community friends.
Yes, absolutely. We'll be doing the same soon. I actually saw a lot of other people in the TikTok community, a slightly younger group, meeting up. But no, it's cool to see after the type of year we've had, like, people expressing themselves, and like it's interesting because someone like myself, I've actually never attempted to make friends over the internet before in my life. Even gaming, I was always a solo gamer. So this is a new experience for myself as well, but it's been amazing. I can't wait to like start hanging out and meeting all y'all.
Absolutely. Brooke says it's so worth it. Star Wars Lawyers going to Galaxy's Edge with a group of creators in September. Man, seems like the Dyad is the least active in like going to just Galaxy's Edge. I've never been.
Which is funny because I've never been either, but both of us live in California.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean, I believe Pep is closer than I am, but probably the same with traffic.
Yeah. I'm about 30, 40 out, but it's still like, it's weird having I mean, I've been everywhere down there, and I've been to Disneyland and California Adventure and been down there several times, but never Galaxy's Edge.
So I was waiting to go because I really didn't want to show up there before Rise of the Resistance came online. It was like fully fleshed out, right? And even after it opened up, back in January, there were still some issues. But and then of course, I lost my job and COVID and all this stuff. So it's not until now that I'll be able to go. But again, my wife will kill me if I try to go without her, and she doesn't have any extra days on work. So we'll work it out. We'll get there.
We'll have to schedule around you, of course, because I myself, being a bachelor, don't need to worry about that. So just let me know when Dyad and the Force is going to be broadcasting from Galaxy's Edge. We'll have a Dyad and the Force show there. Probably not as long because we'll be doing things, but we'll go live on YouTube and just say hi to everybody and let everyone know we're having a great time at Galaxy's Edge. But that's for sure in our future. Fern's there right now posting. Oh, everyone's there, it seems like. Fern, Camilla, Beth, and myself will be there next Sunday. So, oh my God. So many people. Okay, let's move on. I'm feeling sad.
The FOMO is real.
Absolutely. Let's move on to the 9th Jedi. This one will also be set after episode 9. Kenji Kamiyama says, I wondered after episode 9, has the galaxy settled into peace? We all love stories of the Jedi and lightsabers, but what became of the Jedi Knights after the movie series? My story is about that. He goes on to say, when I first saw Star Wars, I was fascinated by the story of this kid, Luke Skywalker, who came from nothing and went on a huge adventure. And for me, this is the root of Star Wars charm. So I wanted to depict a galactic level adventure with a different character. This is awesome. Truly. Another anime has been revealed to take place after the sequels.
Yeah. No, it's gonna be entertaining because again, that's another time. It's a time period that's a blank slate, and we'll see where the galaxy has ended up in this director's vision. But it's awesome because it means that it shows that the writer of this is a big Star Wars fan and wants to enjoys the entire Skywalker saga and wants to factor in all of that information into their own creation. And I think that's really cool.
Absolutely. I'm just like, I'm in the middle of writing my own story after the Rise of Skywalker, so it's cool to see that given how shaky it is, whether or not this is canon, but we can assume it's not. Given that freedom, it's cool to see that some of these directors are, even though they have the freedom to do whatever they want, they could do Super Saiyan Luke again. They're going for setting things up after the sequels. I think that's a huge empty blank canvas that has worlds of potential, and I've been having a blast playing around in that sandbox. Let's see here. He's been making 3D CG anime for several years, but decided to return to hand-drawn style. Oh man. When I think of production IG, hand-drawn style, I think of Guilty Crown. I'm pretty sure you've seen Psycho Pass.
I love Psycho Pass. It's one of my top ones.
Absolutely. You have to watch my video on 8 anime to watch. Psycho Pass is on there as well as Guilty Crown, but you'll see all of these studios are just famous for doing such great work. And he says Japanese hand-drawn animation is very different than CG animation, of course, because you have to draw every frame, whereas in CG animation, you've got the model and you've rigged it so you can animate it however you want. And it is efficient, time efficient, cost effective, but there's something about the charm of hand-drawn animation.
True. Oh, a question in the chat by NCR Trooper. It says, what sequel story is Element writing?
Oh,
I think that's a good question. I don't know.
So I am writing what is called Echoes of the Past. It starts 5 years after the Rise of Skywalker, and it's about Rey and Finn training in the new Skywalker Order. She decided not to continue the Jedi, at least the concept of the Jedi that was there prior, and decided to honor Luke, her first mentor, or her first Force mentor, and name it the Skywalker Order. And so what that means for quote unquote Jedi moving forward in this story is that they all, for all intents and purposes, become Skywalkers. So when they join the Order, they're like Wasili Esahimbo, right? In Chiyun. They're Skywalkers. They're no longer Jedi. Which is a great homage, I think, not to toot my horn, it's a great homage to Anakin and the Skywalker family and everything they did for the galaxy. But yeah, it's on Wattpad for all. I think I have 2 chapters up on Wattpad and 2 chapters up on my YouTube channel right now. The YouTube version, of course, fully voiced, fully produced with sounds and music and stuff, whereas on Wattpad, you could just go there and read it. Yeah, but if you ever wanted to see Finn become a Jedi, it starts there.
There are also some people from the past that are making certain
Yes.
things.
Yes. Well, as the title hints, echoes of the past. So it takes place with the new generation, but has some echoes from way back when. Anyways, not to spoil it. Thank you for the question, NCR Trooper. I very much appreciate it. I don't have a lot of time to talk about that project, although it is taking some time to release the next part because I'm increasing the production value. I have an artist working on it now, and so we'll have art for different scenes and cover art for different chapters. So I'm excited to continue on with that. And then we have, moving on, Lop and Ocho, Nature versus Technology, by Geno Studios. The story is set between episode 3 and 4. So we have another post-Order 66, pre-A New Hope type of story. The Galactic Empire is expanding throughout space. Yes?
Oh, yeah, I was just going to say, in this one, we actually did kind of know roughly where it was placed, because they had admitted that this is going to be talking about the encroaching, industry that is the Empire on the natural beauty. And that's why I think it works so well to have a main character that is a bunny girl.
Yeah.
If we're watching that this sort of industry take over, I'm picturing some Fern Gully vibes, but in Star Wars, and I'm looking forward to this one quite a bit. Also, I believe my wife is going to be cosplaying as Lop at Celebration. So
if I look at this picture right here, if your wife is Lop, are you going to be this guy? Or are you going to be a gender bent Ocho?
Undecided. Maybe I'll come as the Star Destroyer that sits over the city.
Wow. Just a huge kuat on your chest. It's a humanoid rabbit-like alien creature inspired by Jackson. And if you guys don't know who Jackson is, please read Star Wars Adventures. You wouldn't think that guy is canon. That guy's canon. We got a canon rabbit. So, I mean, it makes sense. Anybody who knows who Jackson is knows that there's nothing wrong with Lop. Makes complete sense. And this could be a very canon story if it were. It would definitely fit. Jedi DePaul, thank you for the super chat, dropping some love.
Strong with this one.
The Force is definitely strong with this one. Some love and some for Suki as well.
Yep, and Suki thanks you.
Let me ask you something. I don't know. Have I ever asked you, is Suki named after Suki Stackhouse, or is it like Suki like Japanese?
No, she's the Kyoshi warrior.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes, from Avatar. Okay. Sorry. Who is Lop? Dob asks. Lop is this daughter? Or no, Ocho is the daughter. Lop is an enslaved orphan who is a humanoid rabbit-like creature. So this one right here, I realize you can't see my cursor, but I'll just center it on the page. It's the rabbit girl. That is Lop. And then on the left, that is Ocho. The guy on the right is Choco. I mean, we can have tiger humans, so yeah, anything's possible, of course. Nothing is impossible with the Force. Star Wars Scholar says Suki the goat. Absolutely. This all, of course, all this love DePaul goes towards our ramen party, our platonic ramen party. As is it Star Wars lawyer said? Okay, the duel. Moving on to the duel. Let's see here. A new side to Star Wars. The Jedi versus the Sith and the Rebels versus the Empire are common parts of Star Wars lore, but what if some random person in an unknown corner of the universe got a hold of a lightsaber or some of that power on their own? And that's the premise of the duel. I never thought I'd be given this much freedom to interpret Star Wars in my own way. So I figured if we were allowed to do that, we should go all in. I like it. I like it a lot. Just like this is a question that we've always kind of like pondered as Star Wars fans, right? Outside of the Skywalker saga, like what's happening out in the corner of like of the unknown regions, and there is like some rando that's force sensitive, and they find a lightsaber from like from the Nile battles and stuff that got lost.
I mean, because we also got people like Marchion Ro, who is not force sensitive, knows how to wield lightsaber, and can use it to wreak havoc. So, it's a thing for sure. But I like to see it explored.
Star Wars Scholar says, I'll be able to say Star Wars is my favorite anime when Visions comes out. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It might be. Like, I've seen thousands of anime now. But just this intersection of Star Wars and anime, it may be that much easier to claim one of these as my favorite anime. But we'll see.
Yeah, my hope, though, is that because I do still have friends and family members that are just have no interest in anime and don't realize that Star Wars is already like hella anime.
Hell
Like
yeah.
the big thing about an anime is you're imagining this fantastical world with certain things that are varied. That's usually a premise in a lot of anime. Most of it does not take place in our present day situation, but that's what Star Wars is at its core. It's what it's always been. So it's such a natural like thing to happen.
Absolutely. Now there is something that I wanted to cover that I read earlier about one of these anime that I wanted to point out. Maybe it is. Let's see here. Marchion Ro is not force sensitive. Just got to the part where he whipped out the lightsaber. I'll let you take that, Choco, while I look for what I was trying to.
I mean, to our knowledge, he does not have any force sensitivity, and there is some additional reason to believe that he does not. Otherwise, certain things would probably have affected him differently. So yeah, I will. I'll stand on that rock, not to be confused with Geode, who I think just might be. We'll see.
It was here. I know it was. Who said
it? No worries. I mean, we still have a lot more though to.
Sorry, there it is. I found it. A very prevailing theme in Star Wars. Going back to Lapa Nocho, the director describes that Lop and Ocho meet and form a familial bond that is not bound by blood. Sound off in the chat if you know what I'm referring to.
Let's see, the hardcore band Blood for Blood.
No. How dare you?
Blood for Blood. I don't know. Just throwing it out there.
The Village Bride. There's so many planets in the galaxy, and I wanted to explore the various customs that might be out there. Yes, please, yes. The festival of those puppets
of
on
the ancients.
Is that the festival of the ancients on
Pasana?
On Pasana? Just all that. All that. I want to see more of it. Weddings are celebrated in so many different ways, even here on Earth, and I wanted to show how customs can differ using the relatable example of a wedding ceremony. Even in Japan, we have had a variety of different kinds of wedding customs over time, and not all weddings are happy occasions. So who knows what could happen? There's your romance novel or romance. What do they call it in Star Wars? Just data pads?
I mean, it's like a. what a data pad on the HoloNet.
What? This is very much in line, and this is by Kinema Citrus as well. So they did things like Rising of Shield Hero. Also recommended, fully recommended.
Very recommended. And it's coming back. It has been renewed. So if you have already watched it, there's going to be more of it. So I'm excited about that.
He's referencing Tom Toretto for those wondering. Yeah, like 50. Dom Toretto and, of course, Kieran Barr says it Ray Palpatine, that whole conundrum. The best, the final say on that matter I always end with is that Ray is a Palpatine, but her name is Ray Skywalker. And if you can't get over that, then I don't know what I have no words.
I don't got the dark side. I got family.
Got that big forehead. Holo novels. Okay, that's what they're called. Holo novels. Got it. So this wedding here, this village bride
novellas.
Holo novels. I'm gonna continue this trend of mispronouncing things. This village bride anime is certainly giving me romance holonovels vibes. Romance holodrama for sure. Geode should be changed into an Ugnaught. No, Geode should remain Geode. He should remain Vintian, and that's it.
Why would you change Geode? He's perfect. He's perfect as is.
Geode's done nothing to you.
Geode can't hurt you.
Mabe says, just having a conversation with X-Core Gamer Skills. I'm new here. Well, welcome to the community, Mabe. You are very much welcome to this Star Wars Dyad in the Force high ground community. Everyone's welcome. Everyone's nice.
With arms wide open.
Yeah. She discovered Star Wars last year during the quarantine while pregnant. Well, good for you. Thank you so much for discovering Star Wars, and welcome to the community. You'll find that we are very welcoming and respect all opinions, and not something you typically see here nowadays, but that's the void we're trying to fill. Let's see here. The Podwinds podcast asks thoughts on the ending of Rising Storm to the connection to season 2 of The Rebels. So I don't know who in the chat has finished the book. So we will leave that question for the live Q&A at the end, and then we'll address it after people have we'll say spoiler alert and all that good stuff. So we'll leave that question for the end Q&A, and then we'll move on from here. So keep that in the chamber and throw that out when we get to that segment. So we have a romance holonovel, and then we have Akakiri and Toby one, or Toby. I don't know how they're presenting it, but it's Toby one to me. A road movie that follows the two of them and their friends on their journey. A Jedi and a princess. Oh my gosh, this is another one. Another romance.
Akakiri, yes.
Toby
is a little bit different.
Yeah. Directed by studio head Yoon Young Choi, who described her film as an ephemeral love story between a Jedi and a princess, and it doesn't necessarily have... Oh my gosh, how can you set it up like that? Please, no. You can't be like, oh, this is a romance or a love story. It doesn't end well. Like, well, why am I going to watch it then? I'm still going to watch it, truth be told. But yeah, we have another Jedi romance. Well, no, The Village Bride wasn't a Jedi romance. That was like a romance. And then this one.
So yeah, Village Bride the way it was talked about makes it sound like there is a wedding going on in the same community that someone that was formerly part of the Jedi um, is residing, and they're forced to make a decision whether to stand up or not in regards to certain things that happened. Um, but this one is sounds like just a straight up, you know, Jedi meets girl type of deal. We may, I mean, I feel like Julia Christine is doing backflips wherever she's at right now.
Yeah. Shout out to the Conspiracy Cantina podcast. I don't know if that is DePaul or X Square Gamer Skills, but you're both in the chat, so one of you is behind a curtain.
DePaul.
That's DePaul.
I
shout out
know
to you guys.
because he just added X Core Gamer Skills, and it would be too baller to be adding yourself.
Not gonna lie, I've added myself before.
So has Loki. So
Nice.
has Loki.
But
he did more than add himself. So.
Toby one is a story about a little droid. And he dreams of becoming a Jedi. I assume I'm referring back to the what they announced. Let's see here. They're going for, of course, the Astro Boy feeling. Osamu Tezuka's Astro Boy, and you can clearly see from the images. That's gonna be interesting. I don't have anything more to say on this. A droid becoming a Jedi. The one thing I'll ask the chat and I'll ask Choco is, do you think, given that this isn't canon, do you think that he ends up becoming a Jedi?
I mean, I would like to believe that these stories not being canon means that they are going to base things, that they're not going to be limited story-wise, time period-wise, or action-wise, but they are going to carry over the basic tenets of the universe. But I mean, it's going to depend on the writer's understanding of the Star Wars universe. Yes. I think that's what it's all going to be contention on. So we shall see. But if they watch the prequels, then no.
Got it. Oh, and this one, you said this was your most hype series, wasn't it? Tatooine Rhapsody?
It's way up there. I'm a musician myself. My whole family is musicians. My dad grew up playing bass in like his old church or whatever back in the South. My sister's a guitarist, little brother bass. I'm mostly drums, but some guitar, piano, all this stuff. I don't sing well, but I sing vigor and gusto, which is just as important. But having a Star Wars rock opera seems awesome. Seeing like this weird little hut that has an emo haircut just makes me super happy. The character drawings have like gorillas vibes. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Chibi Boba Fett. Just Chibi Boba Fett.
Why don't you read what this says about the show?
Yeah, I mean it was said that it has rock music, action, and a concert scene. It was enthused Kimura of his self-described rock opera episode. It has a message of doing what is in your heart, regardless of your possession, and that's just a really good message. And I think it's really speaks to the core of Star Wars is doing what's right. I mean, we got to see some of that in the Bad Batch this week. If the status quo or the rules are wrong, what do? And that's the heart of rock music at its core as well. It's that spirit of rebellion. So I'm in it.
So yeah, lots to look forward to with Star Wars Visions. That, of course, all 9 of these episodes or films or shows dropping on Disney Plus on September 22. So Out of the Shadows comes out in 10 days. grab that, read that over a couple of weeks. And then we have August. What's coming out in August? Anything?
I mean, in August we may or may not be getting a graphic novel.
Oh,
Right?
that's right. Based off of Visions, it's called Ronin. Or
No, I thought
Edge of
Edge of
Balance
Balance comes
is
out in
September.
August. September. Okay, my bad.
But we'll see. We'll see if because we do have Ronin. I don't have a release date for Ronin, but it's based on a Visions project, so that could follow suit. And you also wanted to talk about before we get into the Bad Batch. You also wanted to talk about the Emmy Awards and the Mandalorian.
Yeah, I just thought it was kind of a neat update about how the where did my link go? The Mandalorian received 24 Emmy Award nominations, and
Wow.
that's impressive. That's quite that's quite a bit. And so it's just kind of it's interesting being in this nerd community that was so niche for such a long time. And I think that's why a lot of people clutch it so dearly, because we had to protect like this little thing. But it's kind of like Star Wars was like a baby rancor, and now it's grown into this beast, and you can't help but recognize it. And I just you gotta love to see it.
Absolutely. Some of the things that they are nominated for: outstanding drama series, outstanding supporting actor in a drama series, Giancarlo Esposito as Gideon, outstanding director, Jon Favreau, of course. The Jedi received 8 separate nominations, including outstanding writing for a drama series. Dave Filoni getting that money. I mean, I did. I think The Jedi is one of my favorites, and that's thanks in no larger part to Ahsoka. But aside from Ahsoka, it was a well shot and well written episode.
I mean, having a samurai showdown in the courtyard at the same time as a cowboy, showdown right outside of the doors. Plus, yes, Ahsoka is absolutely a standout of the episode, created and written by Dave Filoni. So, yeah. I think it's deserving. It's great to see the recognition. Personally, I do wish that the series itself would take more chances, but we also know that the Emmys don't normally reward risk. So it's cool.
Yeah. I mean, what are the chances that they actually win over the nominations?
It's enough to be recognized, but I do think it'll win one or two.
Yeah.
I do feel fairly confident.
I think the Jedi is going to win. I think Favreau is going to win, and I think Esposito is going to win. But we'll have to see. That's just basically me saying that. I think that they're all going to win.
Well, we're all winners. But that also being said, while talking about the Mandalorian, it's something that we didn't add, but there is going to be a new episode of Star Wars Gallery.
That's coming out in August, right?
I believe that is coming out in August.
Yeah.
I knew there was something. That's going to be the behind the scenes of the season 2 finale and what it was like keeping that secret. So we all have that to look forward to.
Yeah. Hopefully, Cartoonist says, hopefully I get all the other High Republic books read in 10 days. Good luck. I don't think it's something even I can do at 2.5x, which is what I typically listen and read at.
You don't even need that. I'm impressed by how fast you get just getting through the written stuff,
Oh.
But
yeah, I didn't have the audiobook on The Rising Storm, but it was that good of a book. I was just like, oh, I need to read this more.
For anyone that doesn't know, I restarted a job and I'm training and doing all this stuff, but I'm also like, I need to really want to read this. Like, in it,
Yeah.
I'm just torn. It's
How far
life
have
is
you
tough.
gotten for
Uh,
Out of the Shadows?
uh, we don't need to worry about. I mean, I'm like a quarter of the way through it. Nothing crazy.
Have you? Okay, I'm using obscure words for the sake of spoilers. Have you gotten to a point where you feel vindicated about a theory you've had?
I have not.
Okay,
I
well,
have,
we'll leave it at that. Nothing more to say. Um,
but I feel like pretty confident that at some point I'm gonna end up calling you and singing the song "Vindicated" by that person.
I will expect it. I will very much welcome it too. Choco and Element on the Conspiracy Cantina. Yes, absolutely. August 3rd will be on the Conspiracy Cantina. I don't recall what we'll be talking about, but yes, we will be there. Or sing it.
I'll be there.
Me too. Let's see here. I'm just saying the 3 main books. In 10 days? Those are all the adult novels. So that's like, if you're reading at like a normal pace, that's like 14 hours. It could be done if you don't have anything else to do in the day, like me. So yeah, you just have to kind of not have anything to do besides worry about all of this and make content. So yeah, awesome for The Mandalorian with the nominations. Of course, Kathleen Kennedy saying the team's beyond thrilled to be recognized for a second year in a row. So proud of John and Dave. It's an honor for the show to be nominated. Sounds awesome. Sounds just like there's a civil war happening. Everyone hates each other. And Kathleen Kennedy is getting fired for the 25th time. This is all evidence here. When a show like this gets nominated, of course people are going to hate each other, right? Of course.
Yeah, it's hilarious. It's so sad. Like, Kathleen Kennedy reaches out to John Favreau to do the show, and it's successful, and it's so successful that they're like, "Hey, let's greenlight another season." Also, this new technology that we invented, we're gonna make more of that, and we're gonna greenlight you doing several other shows.
Mm.
Yeah, clearly she must hate them, right? Jesus.
I think he like, I'm just imagining like he shows up one day, Filoni, and he's like, Filoni and Favreau show up to her office, Kathleen Kennedy's office. She's like, I have an idea. I think we can expand the Mandalorian verse. Have Ahsoka have her own show, and Rangers of the New Republic, get that off the ground, and we'll just start filling in this 30-year gap, right? And Kathleen Kennedy said, I hate you. Go ahead. You got the green light, but I hate you, right? That's exactly what she said. Dobbs says, will the war at Lucasfilm ever end? No, unfortunately not. As long as laser beams shooting out of eyes exists as a concept, it will always exist. So yeah, moving on to Bad Batch episode 12. Everyone in the chat, hashtag stand with Hauser now. Please. I will say that in Owen Wilson's voice. Hashtag stand with Hauser. How? Now. Hauser. You gotta. This episode, well, I'll let Choco go ahead. What were your feelings on the episode overall?
Overall, well, okay, I do have to say this though. I felt a little numb because I felt like it was a good episode and it had all the ingredients, but it just felt safe. You know what I mean? It didn't feel dynamic like I wanted it to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know exactly why, but it's still enjoyable. Excellent job, music, the everything on it was awesome. Um, we had something I'm making a video on currently was just that small hint at the end of it where where um Omega is talking to Hera and saying, the clones are my brothers.
Mm.
And we have that moment where Hera just seems extra sad. Like it must be nice. And then we can fast forward to that moment in Rebels when Thrawn has the Kalikori and says, "Ooh, this portion talks about a brother one that died when he was still a child."
Mm-hmm.
I want more of that story. I'm curious if that is something that helped kind of galvanize Chams and Dulo into the conflict originally. And I don't know. I mean, I think there's a lot of stuff that we can glean there. Captain Hauser is by far the standout of this arc of this episode. There's so many implications for what he went through and the way that he stood up and has retained his autonomy um, past Order 66 and what that could
Yeah.
mean. And how we just assumed all the other stormtroopers were going to go along with it, but not all of them did.
Some
But
huge implications.
the important part is they were going to, though. They were there. They were going to go against them until someone stood up. So that leads me to believe that while we do see them now all being very, very obedient, it's just because no one stood up yet. No one has rallied the troops. And so it'll take one or two, but I don't know, we're gonna get that Camino uprising. We
Yeah.
got to.
So like for me, I think the show is going through a lot of what Star Wars shows goes through, and that is freshman woes. Season 1 is usually the plot builder and the world builder. I mean, for all intents and purposes, post Order 66 is a time period of its own. So we can't like go from the Clone Wars into the Bad Batch time period and be like the world's already built. So let's just throw in some plot lines and take it from there. So I understand a lot of people's frustrations with how this show is kind of slow burning or simmering. But it's definitely season 1 troubles for sure. A lot of the shows do go through a season 1 lull, and then after that it kicks off with the world being established. And so Order 66, its ramifications and its impact on the world and the galaxy is still being established. So we saw on Seleucami and then now on Ryloth all of these effects happening, and all of these people's crossing paths with each other. Hera and Omega, Cad Bane, Fennec Shand, Cutla Kane, Rex, all of these people, they're all like lending to this world building. And so hopefully as more of the episodes come out, we will start to kind of put a microscope over the Bad Batch, Omega's importance to them and to the larger plot, and Crosshair. And I think we got a lot of it in this episode. And I think I was watching your breakdown too, and it's like there's not that hook or there's not that catalyst that's like driving you to watch it at midnight. And I'm like, I think it's starting here, because like Hauser was it was a catalytic moment, but not necessarily one of those like, oh, let's go. Shout out to Lord Dagobir. But the implications of the chips having a shelf life, wearing off possibly, because a lot of Crosshair's facial expressions were troubled. He wasn't exactly 100% like laser focused on doing his or following orders. He was showing a little bit of hesitance at first. When Rampart orders him to do something, or orders him that Hauser's gonna lead an investigation into Hera or something. I forget exactly what order it was, but he turns around, looks at Hauser, and he's like, like, so he doesn't like the order. He would rather do it himself, and so, of course, by the end, he's got carte blanche to go hunt the Bad Batch. But I also think that this is going to lead to that confrontation, that we'll see a conclusion as to whether Crosshair can be saved.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to it. Because I do agree. I think that was a big part of him saying yes, go hunt them down. Means that we're gonna get a lot more. I guess fulfilling. Because I feel like that's the promise that was given to us with the first episode. Is
Yeah.
that was going to be the driving force. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, I've also been operating under the assumption that this is going to be a limited series, which it very well may not be. So
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, what jumped out at you the most?
Hauser, for sure. Like the score behind that speech, like it just took me away, because like I am a huge Force guy, Force lore person. And so when people ask me what's my favorite clone, what's my favorite battalion, I'm just like, well, it's maybe the 501st, maybe Rex, maybe, and then I have my Bad Batch Crosshair bias. But
Dyad moment.
yeah, I am not a huge clone person, and there are people out there who are. And so that moment standing out to me was a breath of fresh air, because like I felt impacted by Hauser's speech, like with the music and his, and coupled with his speech, I was like, man, I gotta stand with this guy. And it was just very inspirational. And of course, Hera taking her first flight, and
These are your first flights, Hera.
and being a Mary Sue on takeoff.
I mean, I'm gonna need to see like the flight record. What else has she practiced on? Is it any other non-standard ships? Does she have her pilot's license? How does she know what buttons to press? Like, it's an entirely different ship.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Another thing that stood
But
out
we
to
got
me.
to see
Oh, go for it.
Tech in the pilot's chair, showing that he's got some skills. So I did see that. I'm still waiting on some more
Yeah.
development of Tech as a character. Please, I need it. But he's clearly played some rounds of Squadron. Um,
Oh yeah.
Given though that he is a guy, I'm not going to need to see the same things that shows that he knows how to fly. I'm just going to be cool with that.
Given the way that consoles and terminals look in Star Wars, he most likely plays on PC as well.
Oh, you know that not only does he play on PC, but he explains to Wrecker, who plays on console. Wrecker plays on Xbox. Let's be honest, and he and Tech
That's a
is always
video.
telling him. Tech is always telling him how to race. So
Yeah.
that's how I see it.
Podwan's podcast says, I personally didn't mind the last two episodes. I think the storyline with Hera pushed the story forward. I agree. A lot of the episodes are pushing the story forward. It's just the story that not a lot of people want to see right now, right? Like, if you're being a little bit cynical about like where, like, I spoke to, I don't want to name names, so I spoke to her last night, and she it wasn't doing anything for her, the story. So as much as it's pushing the story forward, it doesn't resonate with everybody.
Well, I mean, and something you brought up really did hit home, is being a big Force lore person, and there's not going to be a lot of Force lore in this show.
Mm-hmm.
There just won't be. There's a ton of it. There was some of it in Clone Wars. There's a ton of it in Rebels. This show is not geared for that, and so I think that's a big thing. Not to mention, we are also in the middle of the High Republic, which is not being safe or standard with its storytelling at all. And at the same time, we have Loki dropping every week, which is also wild, and we're theorizing about it. and then we watch this, and it's everything is really good on it, but it's safe. Um, I don't know. Maybe that's it.
Yeah. Um, Star Wars Scholar says, I know it's not finished yet, but this has been a very solid first season. I would argue it's better than both Clone Wars and Rebels in that regard. I'd agree. Of course, like the first season of Rebels and first season of Clone Wars, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. The season 1 of Clone Wars was a nightmare. So
okay, moment in season 1 though, when because I remember when it was coming out, and the Ryloth episodes, and when the bridge gets cut out and everything's falling, and then Mace Windu jumps out of this hole, grabs on some of these some of the droids on their staffs, and just like starts tearing them apart, and then rides them, and it flips and it lands on there, and you're just like, all right, that was badass.
yeah, there are moments, like, for sure, because like the Clone Wars was, for all intents and purposes, an anthology series, right, to show us what happened. And after season 1, it picked up. It started following certain characters around within their anthology versus just, oh, what's here, what's there, what's over here, what's over there. Yeah. So like after season 1, we honed in on Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, Anakin, Padme, and people that were closest to their circles. And so, see, yeah, I would agree with that statement, Scholar. Bad Batch is definitely a more focused, more concise season 1 experience. Even if it doesn't resonate with you, the story is still cohesive in that regard. Mabe says, I don't know why, but I can't hate Crosshair. I keep waiting for him to come back with his brothers. Me too.
It's time to come home, buddy.
Yeah.
The sun's getting real low.
This this show is, or at least me, I'm a huge Crosshair fan. So each and every episode, I'm just like, Crosshair. You just like, come on. Meanwhile, everybody hates him, but I understand why they hate him. So yeah, I think next, hey, NCR Trooper with the question, will we see Kanan and Hera meet in the Bad Batch? I don't think so, but
I hope not.
It's possible.
If they do, I mean, them meeting each other in A New Dawn is such an iconic moment, and so incredible. Highly recommend anyone reads that book, A New Dawn. And yeah, they definitely could meet each other, especially if it's done in a way where they're not going to remember each other later in life. But no, I really can't see it happening. We've had how many weeks since Order 66 happened? Caleb is in hiding now. You're not going to find him.
He's like, by this time, isn't he like with, what's his face? He was he's either a scoundrel or he's with him when Styles lets him go. What's his face? What's his name?
Oh, I can't remember the name.
I keep on landing on Cassiopeia, but that's not him at all.
Sakio Jimbo.
Yeah. Casablanca. No. It's one. Kanan's with a person that's like trying to show him how to be like a hauler or a scoundrel. Man, I forgot his name. That's a question on the quiz. You know what else is on the quiz? Did you know that on the island of Octo, there were only 3 types of fish that Luke could catch at any given moment? They're called finger lip garpon, twin fin hyasander, and the Spetten channelfish.
That's interesting. It almost sounds like the question would be about which one is not found on the island.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's hard to tell at this point. What were the fish named again?
Finger lip garpon, twin fin hyasander, and Spetten channelfish.
All of them sound delicious.
Absolutely. I prefer the finger lip Garpon. Sounds finger lipping good.
Uh,
There's definitely no dewbacks here.
nope. No dewbacks and no. That there should be though.
Chris says that's an interesting piece of trivia information. Thanks for the information. That was my impression of Chris. Thanks for the information.
I love it.
Don't disrespect Dr. Nuvo Vindi and the Blue Shadow Virus. Oh, you guys are in that one now, huh? Yes. That'll wrap it up for our main segments of the show. And so now, if you guys have any thoughts on the Bad Batch and I haven't echoed them from the chat, I do apologize. Leave them again in the chat and we can certainly address them. But of course, this segment before we wrap things up fully is just spending 5 or 10 minutes with a Q&A. And so we have that question that someone asked about Rising Storm. We'll save that for the very last one before we end the episode, so everyone has a chance to ask their questions, and then we can say, hey, spoiler alert, thank you for watching, leave if you haven't finished the book.
Now, Bob is saying, I'm honestly shocked that we aren't getting a Grievous show. I think he really needs an origin. I would love to see it myself. I would love to spend some time with his culture, seeing this warrior culture, and then this one person who's obsessed. Much like Ash Ketchum, he wants to be the very best that no one ever was, and starts modifying himself in order to reach those heights, only to lose his own humanity.
Levi Bot asked, did you guys see yesterday's Kenobi news? Now, is it news or is it the rumor that Sun Kang is going to play an Inquisitor? Clarify that for me. If there is news about Kenobi and we missed it, wow. But if it's just the rumor, I don't know if I want to comment on it. But if Choco wants to comment on that rumor.
Well, I mean, I have not. I haven't heard anything specific other than what you just mentioned about us getting Han from Fast and Furious.
Oh yeah.
In there as an Inquisitor who's gonna Tokyo drift around the world. Which I would pay to see that. We'd like to see that, wouldn't we?
We would love to see that, wouldn't we? Jackie, we'd love to see that. His name is Lee, goddammit. Man, now I need to put sizzle cards in so I can just press play on it. Yeah, I'm gonna do that for next week. We're gonna have now you speak my language. We're gonna have a lot of sizzles that I can play throughout the show. Star Wars scholars ask, what are your top 3 Star Wars tracks? Rey's theme, Yoda's theme, Jedi Steps.
Let's see. First, I got to go with Tusken Raiders because they go single file to hide their numbers, so their tracks are kind of cool. Dewback tracks because you got the big tail in the middle. Who else's tracks?
Shout out to Dewbacks.
Obviously, just kidding. Force theme. I mean, there's a lot of these that just kind of go in and out of each other, but number 1 is the asteroid belt theme. Empire Strikes Back. Dun, 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 dun. It just makes me so happy every time. Force theme, as well as I gotta also give it to Rey. Her theme just gives me life.
Yeah,
it's like a audible croissant. It's like it's light and fluffy, but like crispy and buttery for your ears.
That's That's quite the description. I like it. I agree with it.
You know, it's accurate. Yeah.
Very flaky croissant too. Like as soon as you bite into it, the layers peel off, and
Mhm.
you now end up eating it with by the layers. You're like unrolling it.
Star
uh,
Wars Lawyer says Across the Stars, Imperial March, and Anakin's Dark Deeds.
those are some good
All
ones.
awesome. Especially coming from someone that does Darth Vader's voice and has an Anakin cosplay. So
Yeah. See, the Jedi Steps for me, that was like the lead into TLJ Luke.
mhm.
Right at the very end of The Force Awakens, like it was building up this hype moment for Luke's reveal, and then he like turns around. I'm like, oh come on, you know. So it is a great track for building up hype in a story. I like to use it whenever I'm building up to a climax, and when I'm writing a story, I put Jedi Steps on, and I can thoroughly build or progress into a climactic moment.
Oh man, you I'm gonna put that links when the episode actually comes out, but the episode I just did was Star Wars Music Minute. I
Oh,
I first of all, Xanthi is so freaking talented that it hurts my brain. But like you just get whatever because Xanthi is going through all of the movies 5 minutes at a time, and then we're breaking down the music and what happens during that 5 minutes. And the 5 minutes I just happened to get was TLJ, Luke versus Kylo Ren, and I
mm,
was like, hot damn, you know, because
yeah,
we also got Ray, you know, lifting the boulders and like yeah, it was just a great time. So I'll be pointed out once we get there, and I need confirmation. But Xanthi may be coming to the high ground this Wednesday. So we'll see.
nice. Yeah, check out High Ground also. Shout out to the High Ground podcast. So I guess you guys are talking about music next week.
Indeed, indeed.
Nice. Uh, let's see here. Brooke says Leia's theme is her favorite. Also a great choice. I love Samuel Kim's version of Luke and Leia, the mashup. I thought was just so beautiful. X-Core Gamer still says Duel of the Fates, main theme, Binary Sunset. You can't go wrong with the main theme, you know. Ding, you know, it brings out emotions in everybody, really.
Yeah. For sure, and also like few moments in my life will have the same gravity that Duel of the Fates had when that second lightsaber comes out, and yeah.
Yeah. Conspiracy Can't See says, "Oh, so we talking about Yub Nub? Yes, to some
Levi
degree.
Bond pointing out Love Pledge and the arenas where it's at. I think that's one of the most iconic scenes. I know not everyone has the same level of love for that film, but that scene when they have the kiss as they're going out into the arena, and then the musical theme. Yeah, there's
For
also
sure.
Yub Nub for life. Yub Nub for
No,
life.
no, they don't. How would you both like to see the Bad Batch end? Mine's really quick on this one. Crosshair sacrifices himself, or does the sacrifice play to save the Bad Batch, and they all go off into the distance, and he's dead.
I'm gonna say that Wrecker sacrificed himself, but
Mm.
Crosshairs makes it out. Crosshairs gets the surgery. They take the thing out. He's still not fully aware of himself. They're trying to hustle out. Um, but the only person that is going to, like, they have Wrecker go a berserker in order to give everyone else time. Because we've also seen like he can take a punch, he can take a shot, he can take several shots. Uh,
Yeah.
and he's the one that's holding it out. Knowing Dave Filoni and how much he likes to hurt us, I I'm thinking it's gonna be Wrecker.
Do you think Wrecker could have like a platoon, like a Willem Dafoe platoon moment with like William Barber in the background? It's like
I don't know the reference. I'm sorry. I'm aware of Platoon, but
well, let's see if we can bring it up here. I don't know. I don't have the rights to the song, but oh look, there's our live stream. Adage Geo for strings. We'll play like some of it and see if you can't recognize it.
I'm assuming it'll start playing soon. In the meantime, Harith says that he thinks Echo will die. I'm sorry, the last domino will fall. Just rude. Just rude, man.
Yeah.
I feel like a record would die like Hard Case.
Levi By says no, not Willem Dafoe. No. So I only played like 6 or 7 seconds. I don't know if you heard it, Choco, if you have the stream pulled up.
Oh, you probably played it through the stream, which I cannot hear.
Yeah.
So that's okay.
I'll play it for you afterwards. But yeah, it's just a scene in Platoon where you know everyone is about ready to take off in the chopper, and then he's running to catch up to them, and he gets shot, and he's like and then he's like getting shot still, and then everyone's taking off, and then this song plays in the background. Get to the helicopter. Levi Bond knows it.
Get to the chopper.
Someone mentioned this in a Discord chat as a possibility. In the final battle, all 4 Bad Batch and a newly freed Crosshair has to take care of Omega. Thoughts on this? I hate to be like a negative Nancy or a Debbie Downer, but one of them has to die.
No, that's what it's saying. The 4 members that we have.
Oh, all
and
4.
Only Crosshair survives, and he's the one that has to take care of Omega.
Oh, that's interesting. I like it, not for the fact that Crosshair survives, but I like it because it's so
heavy.
It's so cerebral to people who hate Crosshair, and would also call into question, hey, you like Anakin? Here's Crosshair.
Yeah.
Let's see what you think about that. I like that a lot. Look, Chris in the chat, he had to retract that message. I saw it. I'm quick like that. I saw it. He said, oh no, he said it again. He said, F Crosshair. Well. Okay. So I'm actually we're going to answer that question now for the Rising Storm. But all you have to do is mute the stream if you have not finished Rising Storm. What I'm going to do is I'm going to answer the question with our cameras hidden. Like this, right? It's gone. While the cameras are gone, we'll be speaking about the Rising Storm spoiler question. And I do believe we have 2 questions from X-Core Gamer Skills
Mm-hmm.
and Podwan's podcast. So the cameras are going away. The first question, of course, was how do we feel about the Rising Storm ending, possibly connecting to the Rebels with Twilight of the Apprentice?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it actually does, but it's a strong possibility given the stones and stuff. But the one thing that they would need to do in a subsequent book is to confirm that this thing is of Sith origins, right? Because we don't know how old this thing is, but in Rebels, they say like this battle that they're looking at happened thousands of years ago. So we would need confirmation that the leveler is thousands of years old, is of Sith origins, and is what the Sith used to seal the Drengir. Because I do believe the idols we saw in Into the Dark were in fact people and not idols.
I could definitely see that. I I like the possibility of a connection, and what's more is we know how long they've been working on this project for the High Republic.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and considering those things, I Twilight of the Apprentice came out in 2016. I want to say, yeah,
Yeah.
March of 2016. And so that being said, at least from what I understand, it sounds like they started working on this High Republic concept, or what would in the future become known as Project Luminous, back then. So I could see them making those connections. Yeah, especially. Yeah, I could absolutely see it. You know, them being related, and we know that this is, as far as it being an ancient Sith thing. I don't think it has to be. I don't think it has to be related to the Sith directly at
Maybe
all.
not. I would say it has to be ancient though, right? Because that war that
Yes.
we're connecting to is thousands of years in the past. So at least the
Yes.
leveler has to be that old. I like the only reason I think that it should be Sith related is because um I want it to be. I want it to be related to how they sealed the Drengir and how they sealed those idols, because that would be a great connection to Into the Dark, and then it would kind of, give the Sith, especially in Twilight of the Apprentice, that kind of like this was a weapon that they used a long time ago, right? And it fell into the hands of Marchion, who is a Chiss.
Huh?
Marchion's a Chiss. That's my theory, anyway. Now, because we don't have any idea about the ascendancy in this time, so I'm thinking like a lot of his methodologies, his modus operandi, matches a Chiss, and the physiology doesn't match a Grisk, but we don't know what the Chiss looked like back then, because it's like a slate gray / bluish skin right now on Ro. We don't know. That's my reach, at least.
Okay. Okay. Um, I just think at some point, the leveler, because he also, more than that, he belongs to some sort of culture.
Mm-hmm. Oh, take
Um,
this time to address X-Core's question as well. I think it was: is the leveler a living thing, creature, machine?
I do believe it's a living thing, living
Mm-hmm.
creature. But as far as the nature of it, it's hard to gather. I'm picturing a cross between like a saber-toothed tiger and a rancor, but smaller than a rancor. It's just what I have in my head of it. Just kind of like climbing around. But yeah, definitely living creature, and that had to be frozen among the ice. Um, and I forget what I was gonna say. Oh yes, Marchand Rogue. So when they go and find the last piece that Marchand needs for the leveler, um, the old woman wasn't described as looking like Marchand, if I recall correctly. But they clearly belong to the same order, or maybe the same faith, or what have
Mm-hmm.
you. And so that is the thing that is going to be more important than that, and I firmly believe that to be the Maxine Warriors. So both of these could
Oh,
be
that's
true.
true. Man, you had to pull me back from like snap back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Because that is true. Maxine can be also a thing as well. Brooke says, has there been any concept art for the leveler? No. Wouldn't it F with the Sith too, Levi asks. I feel like any known faction would have used this thing. It'd be Mandalorians. I don't know. It all depends on who's using it. We don't know how it's used, to be completely honest.
How it's intended to be used, but we also have, what happened at Malachor is both Jedi and Sith were affected by whatever this weapon was, and so that's I mean, what you're saying makes sense. It's one of the reasons I don't believe it necessarily has to have been created by the Sith,
Oh,
but
no.
I could absolutely see them as, I mean, it is a canon thought bomb equivalent, roughly.
Mm-hmm. They found it, more or less, is what
Yeah.
I'm trying to say. They found it. They tried to use it. It backfired. And now Marchion has it. So
You never had control. That's the illusion.
Okay. I think we're gonna end it here. We're back, folks. Cameras are back. No more spoiler talk. If you have one or two more questions, please leave them in the comments. Nothing from the Rising Storm, please, so that we can answer them to everybody else. But Choco, any final thoughts? Any parting words?
I mean, one of the final thoughts is that we need to have a red background for spoiler warning, so we can change the scene specifically for spoilers. But no, I feel like we covered everything. At least everything I have.
Yeah.
The well has run dry for me.
Is there only one Bendu, or is there more? So far, there's only one. And I don't know if his name is Bendu or he just calls or describes himself as the Bendu, which is like just a collective term that he uses.
Or maybe he's like Prince.
The balance formerly known as the Bendu.
I do believe that there's only one. Although it could be hilarious to have multiple, and then they all run it. It's like, hello, Bendu. Hello, Bendu. Oh, you awakened me from my slumber.
Your presence, your imbalance, is like a
storm,
violent storm. Harris Production says, spoiler alert, the dewbacks are the main villain in Rising Storm. Absolutely. And with that said, it's time to wrap up this show of Dyad in the Force. Shout out to all of our members in Squadron 7, St. Pat, Arya L, Car2D2, Grandmaster Bale, Harith Productions, DePaul, Nerd Connor, Levi Bond, X-Core Gamer Skills, Cal 4, Johnsky, Julia Christine, Masa, Gray, Darth Choco, my Dyad, and Brian with the beard, enjoying their starships out in the galaxy somewhere, and our newest members, Podwans Podcast, and Star Wars Scholars. Again, leave your starships in the chat, or if you go into the community section of the channel, you can find a post where I've asked people to select their starships. And you can leave it there as well in a comment, and I will add you to this card. So please do that, and welcome to the squad.
And Chris, yes, you can add a ship to the squadron.
Yes, these are not all of the ships. These are just the ships I've added and people have added. And so there can be pages and pages of different ships. People can fly a skiff, just a rando skiff from Kef Beer that there's no name of. I would have to search for it, but it can be done. Everyone gets a choice. The hangar is an infinite supply of starships.
It does have to be some sort of vehicle. So no, you cannot choose Lando to ride.
Don't choose. Yeah, hashtag don't choose Lando to ride. Chris says,
Lady Luck.
should I stay on brand and do the Lady Luck? Hey, that's your choice. It's absolutely your choice. But thank you once again to everybody who tuned in to this episode of Dyad and the Force. This is the end. On to the next one.
For light and for life.
We are all the Republic.
May the Force be with you. Always.